All right, y'all. Down in the valley where the
Jamie,
girls get
let's shout
naked.
you out for the graphics though.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, we have to get into P to the valley, down in the valley where the girls get naked.
I hope these are in the box, right?
I
Please
was
tell
thinking the
me.
same thing.
What's
these
in the
are
Let me
box?
these
just
are on the
in the
OneDrive, right?
Dropbox.
All these that you've
Yeah.
made, you're
They
not gonna
will
be
be. They
okay.
will be
Okay,
dropped.
thank
They
you.
will definitely be dropped.
Thank
Okay,
you
we got to get
so
into the
much,
season.
girl. I love it here. I love it here.
Let's get into this episode, y'all. It was very interesting. First off,
Oh,
they opened up the show with Miracle. First of all, why I was calling this woman Lyra and Miracle? Why I get no mixed up? I can't take it. I'm
I
sorry,
used to.
but this sex scene at the top of the episode, I enjoyed it. I must say, I was like, "Oh my god, they really getting it in!" Like, girl, they showing us how they made this baby. Like, and then when he threw her over and started getting it from the back, and then she had that arch. I said, "You better know what to do," because I would damn sure know what to do, whether we acting or not. It would have got real life real quick.
oh,
So yes, I definitely like that. But I want to know y'all thoughts about the sex scene. But in addition to that, I want to know what you thought about when she walked over to, I want to say, his shrine, and she saw Montavious's ring, and to me, her facial expressions looked like it was familiar to her. Like, is that Montavious? And she almost grabbed it. So did y'all get the same vibe that I got?
yes. Yes, I did.
Hmm.
I really do feel like you can't trust her. Her tits are too perfect. Get her out of here. I don't
That was
trust
definitely perfect.
her. They were
They
perfect.
was sitting up, gravity
I
defying.
mean, Jesus. Okay. I appreciated the visual, but ultimately I don't trust her. And I do feel like she is looking for Montavious evidence on Montavious. Girl, I don't know, but it's feeling like she know who Montavious is. Like, obviously he's into hoodoo. So you see all of the little shit around his place. Why did you pick out that thing to glue in on? Like you ain't never seen a ring before. It's because it looked familiar to you.
Agreed. Like everything he had over there, and she zoned in on that particular thing. I have to agree.
I didn't even think about that, but that made perfect sense. It's something about her too that seemed kind of mystical though, right? Whenever she picked him up on that motorcycle and was like, "You trying to come with me?"
It's the
Yeah.
bad acting.
Oh, good night.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I really don't know, but I had to say when I watched the sex scene, I was like, "Damn!" So this is what Miss April was mad about last week when we was talking in our gossip segment
Oh,
because
yikes.
this was probably filmed like a year and a half ago, maybe, because I remember them filming, or either they started filming during the pandemic and then they stopped. I can't remember. But I was like, you know what? This is probably when. This is probably when, he started acting funny. He didn't want to come home from set. They was filming late. But yeah, I thought they looked good.
And they did.
Mm.
So I want to transition and go ahead and talk about Big Teak, y'all. Um, it's just interesting to see. Well, let me try to run it back. First of all, Teak get this haircut. He already was gifted a car. We know that. Murder gifted him a car. It seems like he was really emotional about that because he's not used to good things really happening to or for him. He's only used to getting the bad parts. When he goes to get the haircut, there were little signs throughout this episode that let us know that he probably was not going to be with us much longer. When the barber told him that he looks casket sharp. Then I have this particular image here because Katori Hall went to Twitter to kind of talk about the little devil horns that you see in the corner. That I have to be honest, I didn't even notice that the first time because I was still stuck on what the man said about him not being here any
Damn,
longer.
that's deep.
Yeah, right. Because they're saying the man in the picture, along with the horns on the side, that man was a musician at some point in his life, and he ended up selling his soul to be famous. Which is interesting because it's like, could there be like two plays on that? I don't know. So this is what I'm thinking. Y'all tell me. Like, one, we already knew he probably was gonna pass away. You look casket sharp, but then you also at another time just had Murder talking about the different songs that he does and stuff. So it's like, is at some point Murder's probably gonna sell himself? Sell his soul or whatever, just so he could be famous too. Is that possible? I don't
I
know,
thought it
but
was more
mhm.
of Teak envisioning himself as the sacrifice to murder success instead of murder
Ooh,
having to sell anything. Because you remember when they was at the gas station, and Murder's song started playing. Murder got up on top of the car and he looked at him and he was happy, but at the same time it hit him like shit. He made it. He can't go no further without me. Like he had this look in his face, and I felt like that's when he felt like he had to sacrifice himself in order for Murder to be successful. On top of Wody telling him you got to get rid of Teak.
That's so, I love that, Nisi, because I didn't even think of that. My head was in a place of when the guy asked Murder like the songs he does, and Murder listed out the songs that he do. The guy said you should get him on, like this guy needs to be on the track. So I figured he was talking about Big Teak, and I'm thinking to myself like, so did Big Teak always wanted to be an artist and felt as though it would never happen for him? Seeing Murder standing on top of the car was looking like, you know,
he could live it through him.
Not really live it through him. In my head, I was just thinking that it would never happen for him because it's happening for Murder. So because of that, it made me think, is that another reason that made him feel like he should clap himself, especially when they sat down to get the dinner and Murder over there talking about Uncle Clifford like that's the best thing he ever came across, as though he didn't have a relationship with the man sitting right across from him. So I feel like that was the last straw as well. So that's how I was kind of looking at the situation. But I think Nisi made a really good point on that. That was deep.
Man, this whole episode, shit.
And you know what else? It's just like with Big Teak, he was around, of course, going crazy at different times. And it's their response to Big Teak as a group and our response as viewers, to me, is so real, because a lot of times when a person is dealing with mental issues, we automatically be like, they crazy. We never think that it's something deeper than that. We just automatically kind of like write them off or whatnot. So I think he was feeling all of that energy.
I mean, I think we recognized that it was something deeper than that. I just didn't think we understood how deep it went. You know what I'm saying? Like finding out the backstory and, you know, what happened with Teak's mom murdering his siblings. And then him being the only one that got away. Apparently that was like a real story. That was one of the things Katori talked about in her tweets. And so he's having that on him, on top of the fact that he has the darkness that happened in prison and all of the people that he killed during that time. I think for me, when I looked at the picture and thought about the artist selling his soul to the devil, I think that Teak feels like he sold his soul to the devil in order to be able to live after what happened. Because he talked about all of those people he killed. Like, he was like, I did way more than that, which makes me feel like he saw himself in some way as becoming the devil. Because later on, you know, in a moment, he says, I don't have no light left, which makes me feel like he saw himself as not just being in the darkness, but of the darkness as well. Which is why he felt like he had to go, because he was going to bring Murder down if he didn't let him go. And I think that was probably the aggravation throughout the episode, where he kept trying to drop Murder off, and Murder didn't want to be dropped off because Murder knew what he was going to do. I think on some level he understood it and was trying to save him. But it was like, you can't save somebody that feel like they just tired. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was tough.
And
like,
so much.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, Jamie. So much that whenever they first introduced Teak, it made me think about I'm about to forget the name. Khalil Broad. I'm about to say his last name wrong.
I think I know who you're talking about.
The guy who Jay-Z helped get out of prison. He was in the hole. Broader, yeah, I think that's what it was. But Jay-Z helped him get out, and he was in prison a long time. But I know he was in a hole for like almost 2 years. And when he got out, so he went to prison for a crime he didn't commit, because he was on probation from something he did when he was 15. I think he went to prison when he was 17, was in a hole for like 2 years because they had him in prison waiting for trial. Khalif Browder, thank y'all. And when he got out, he didn't see the light, and he took his own life as well.
Wow.
So Teak made me think so much about him in that story.
That is so
they did a good
tragic.
job with the writing.
They did. And I just hated for Murder witnessing that. It did, for some reason, make me think about Monica, because I think Monica mentioned her boyfriend doing that. The singer Monica, mentioned her boyfriend doing that in front of her, and I'm like, dang, I wonder how Murder is going to forever be changed by this particular situation.
Yeah.
That is just so sad. Like I hate that for T, especially considering the fact that we saw his, like, it really wasn't no happiness for him this entire episode, this entire season so far, except for him getting that car.
Except for this episode, we saw
Except for the episode.
Big the whole time, like from when they gave him the car, that ugly ass car, and he was doing the donuts and shit. Like he was sad, but it was a happy sad, you know. And they were showing him appreciation for everything he had went through, and you know, I guess at that moment it must have all felt worth it for him in some respect. Another moment was when they was at the diner. I feel like the fact that he didn't think they would ever get to have that moment. I think as much as it was like, okay, I feel like it's time for me to go, it was also like all of these moments are making me feel like it should be the last date because this is perfect. Having the day at the diner, even that last moment when they was on top of the car singing the songs and shit together. You know what I'm saying? Like all of that felt like the perfect date that they probably thought they would never have. And for Teak, I think that was like the perfect end of story for him. You know what I mean? So it's just fucked up that it had to stain Murder in a real way.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? He had on what, white, and had like that huge blood stain going down his leg. You know what I'm saying? So like I think that was metaphorically, you know what I'm saying? Like
a stain forever.
Yes.
That's gonna be a part of him forever.
The moment I saw him wearing white, I knew that was the day. When they was in the car and Murder was wearing white, I was like, oh yeah, it's gonna happen.
Oh yeah,
I felt it my nerves was so bad the whole episode. When they was at the gas station, I thought he was gonna kill him. Like I just I knew what was gonna happen. It's just the whole episode you was kind of on the edge of your seat every time, except for when they were eating those damn wings. And that scene felt so, I don't know, I think they have the ability to make these moments between men seem so romantic and so tender in a way that people haven't been able to do to me. And it makes people who aren't normally comfortable with those types of scenes, it makes them see it differently. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate that about the writing on this show.
1000%. I said the same exact thing because I never see that. You never see that. You may see a hug, this or here or there. You may understand what's happening between them, but you never really get the whole romantic feels like you do when it's a male and a woman. So it was really good. Let's get to Mississippi because I'm tired. Like, I hate to say it, but as Big Teak arrived to his moment, I need her to arrive to hers. Because I first of all, why she packed the kids up and then she was over there taking her time getting them to the car. I'm like, how you don't have no type of strategy? Like, I'm like, you should have made sure the car was running first, packed through whatever bags in the car, then went and got the kids and hurry up and got them in. She was just moving so slow. Only to find out
in the car and then put their seatbelts on around the corner.
Period. And couldn't go nowhere because the battery was gone, girl. I just could not. I'm so tired of seeing Keyshawn like this. But what I'm not understanding is like, why she ain't calling nobody? Like, why you just not calling nobody? I think it's because she don't want nobody to kill him. And somebody said it was because she don't got nobody. And I'm like, I don't think it's that she don't got nobody because she had Wody. If she can go to Wody, she could go to Murder, but she's not. I think she's afraid for him to get clapped. Right. Go to Uncle Clifford. That scene just grinded my gears seeing her walk back inside. And I knew she wasn't going to shoot. I knew she wasn't going to pull the trigger. She's not ready. She's not at that place yet.
That wasn't smart for her to do that in that way. Anyway, she needs a plan. And that's what I thought she was going to come with this episode. But she needs to talk to Wody because Wody is good at handling things. And she needs to figure out a way to make this problem go away.
I was afraid that he was gonna be walking behind them as they walk back in the house. Like, where's your ass going? I definitely thought he was gonna be like, hold on.
Definitely seemed like he was gonna pull up. That's funny.
Yeah, I was scared. She definitely has to have a plan.
This whole episode had my fucking nerves bad.
Bad.
The whole
bad. My nerves wasn't too bad with Haley them. I feel like that could have been, to me, the least entertaining part.
It pissed me off, I'll tell you that.
Why you say that?
Because I'm tired of fucking Corbin. I'm tired of Corbin. Corbin is very disrespectful. I'm tired of him manhandling the shit out of Haley for no reason. He's just it's given I hate women. It's given I hate women.
Ooh.
Because like even when he called Andre, the way he was going, she just doesn't understand her place, and she ain't nothing but a bitch with a half a brain, and all of this like real disrespectful, fucked up personal shit. Like, why you that upset at that lady because she don't want to sell you that property for what it's not worth? Like, why you that mad? Everybody that's actually pulling money out their pocket to pay for it don't seem that mad about it.
Right.
Miss seem that mad about it. Why are you that mad about it? So
Exactly.
yeah, I don't like his energy towards Haley at all, and it annoys me that Andre doesn't check him, because Andre likes to use Haley. It doesn't matter how he tries to act like she's doing shit that bothers him. He is constantly using her at his advantage.
The scene was only boring to me because Haley has the worst Southern accent out of everybody on this show, and that's because she's from the UK. So I'm just tired of the seductive whispering in the dance for you scenes. You know,
Not the dance for you
future
scenes.
music
Oh,
video.
wow. However, that's
That's funny, honey.
I would say
Not the dance for you.
I'm not body party.
Yeah, I'm sorry, my dog. Why are you fighting like this? Get away from me with this. Oh my God.
I can't. Oh wow.
Wrong. I'm sorry.
I think Corbin. No, you're fine, Bondi. I think Corbin also. I don't know if it's that he just don't like women or anything, but I think he doesn't like Haley. Oh, I didn't even see the super chat. Sorry, guys. I think he just don't like Haley because he looks down on her as her being a stripper, right? And she's really intelligent, I think. Like, she's up on game, and he expects her to be just as stupid as he probably would think Uncle Clifford would be. So I think that's why he gets so frustrated with her, and she know how to swindle her way into places. So he might see through her. He probably got the same frustration with her as that Uncle Clifford got, because it's something about her. Thank you so much, Zakia, for the super chat, and my apologies that I missed yours, Film Boy. Film Boy says Teak learning about how much Murder loved Clifford was not a last straw. In that moment, he knew that Murder was going to be okay and loved without him around. Murder staying was an act of love, but he will be traumatized because of it. Thank you so much, Film Boy, for the super chat and your thoughts. I appreciate that. I'm sorry that I missed the doggone super chat. God dog it. Sorry, guys. All right. So what else ended up happening on this show? I think the last thing, really the big thing, I mean, of course, we know Mercedes' daughter is pregnant or whatever, but it was Coach for me. Coach was really getting it in, and it was the way he cussed them out. Once he realized that they was up there smashing, and the way he was like, I know what 2 months fucking look like he was just cussing. But I loved how the lady checked him, and she was like, you've been so wrapped up in yourself that you didn't even realize that, I like Cootie Swat just as much as you. I'm like, whoa. But I didn't fully, I was trying to first of all, Mercedes made me mad, because it's like, why would you tell him not to forget your 40K or whatever the amount was, only for you to leave the 40K? All because the lady gave you the shoes.
He picked it up though. He was already picking it up before she even came out the room. He was picking up that money. He wasn't gonna let her take that money.
And those were Mercedes shoes. The lady was giving her shoes like, sorry.
Yeah, like
right. And that's what I'm like. You don't even want to be with her like this. So why are you so mad? And you just leave some money out. I thought he was gonna give it to her.
I know one thing. That bitch better find a way to give Mercedes the rest of that fucking money. Since you up here, because she told her, you trying to fuck up my bag. She told her to act like nothing happened, and she was like, let him get mad. And now her 40K is out the window, and she needed that money, and it's fucked up. And I like the fact that they spoke on how for sex workers, when people do shit like that, that's a form of sexual violence. Like, we have an agreement that if I'm going to give my body to you, if I'm going to do something that I really didn't want to do, because she asked for you not to have your wife there in the first fucking place, and she goes and does it, and then you don't hold up your end of the bargain, that is like, yeah, that's an act of sexual assault to me. And somebody said she signed a contract. No, she signed the NDA. She signed on what she wasn't going to say about their relationship, but she can't sign a contract for something that's illegal. That's not legally binding.
Yeah. I feel bad for Mercedes. As you mentioned, Bondi, that was a violation. I felt the same way when I saw her headed for the door. I was like, damn, like you did all that and you know, they just send you on your way and the wife essentially used you only for her to stay with her
Oh,
husband.
mm.
Like, not that I expected the wife to leave and fall in love with Mercedes, but Mercedes was collateral.
For sure.
It was just too funny though when he said, "Bitch, you didn't turn my wife out."
Like, no,
I knew this wasn't gonna end well for her. I knew it wasn't. Nothing ever goes well for Mercedes.
I'm mad that he didn't see it. Like, first of all, your wife got a wig on that made me feel like she was trying to hide something. And usually they be trying to hide they like ladies, especially if they got shoulder pads on and they shirts and they wear slacks. And that lady had on slacks and shoulder pads and a church lady wig. It screams lesbian. So if you didn't know, you was lying to yourself. And that's just how I feel. Sorry.
And she was a
Lord.
photographer, like Kerry Washington and Lil Fires everywhere.
Yes. Photography, being an artist, having arm tattoos, all lesbian things. Not exclusive,
Y'all is a mess.
but together.
Anything else on PValley, honey?